Welcome to the Lambton College International Graduate Services and Support Center, your dedicated resource for navigating life after graduation. We know the journey can be complex, from understanding immigration processes to making career decisions and expanding your professional network. That's why we're here, to simplify these challenges and support your transition into Canadian life. At the International Graduate Services and Support Center, our mission extends beyond your academic achievements. We are here to facilitate your successful integration into the Canadian workforce and society. From career counseling to workshops on Canadian workplace culture and immigration support, our services are tailored to meet the unique needs of international graduates. We're committed to empowering you with the tools and knowledge necessary for success. Embrace the opportunity to connect with fellow graduates and professionals through our networking events and stay informed with our comprehensive webinars covering a range of topics crucial for your postgraduate success. Remember, the path to achieving your aspirations is a journey we undertake together. Ready to take the next step? Visit our website and join our supportive community. Remember to follow us on Instagram and on LinkedIn for upcoming immigration webinars, networking events, and much more. Together, let's make your postgraduate journey a success.
All right, good afternoon. Thanks a lot for joining us today. My name is Cristina Yeguren, and I'm the coordinator of the International Graduate Services and Support Center. I want to remind you that we are recording this webinar so that you can watch it later on our YouTube channel, and you are also going to get a recording shortly. I want to invite you as well to follow us on our social media accounts, where you're going to find the latest information about the center. Next week, we're going to host a webinar on post-graduation work permit. So if you just graduated, I really recommend you to join us because we're going to have an immigration consultant and he's going to solve all your questions. As you know, this center is dedicated to assisting our international graduates as you seek employment and settle into Canadian life following graduation. Our international graduates from all 4 campuses have access to immigration, career advice, and networking events. Also, there are countless reasons why you can take pride in being a Lambton graduate, as I'm also very proud of working here. We've been ranked as one of Canada's top research colleges, and we're here to support you all the way, even after graduation. We're one of the few colleges in Canada that has a graduate center. Today, we're going to host a very interesting event about the CELPIP, the reading and writing portion of it. And we do have 2 amazing guests with us from ILAC. You have probably heard about ILAC before. It's a huge organization for learning English and French as well. We will talk a little bit about French in a moment as well. But we do have 2 amazing guests, as I was saying. We have Cristina. Cristina is the director of International Student Advisory Team at ILAC Education Group. In her role, she's responsible for overseeing direct sales operations and student recruitment, contributed to ILAC's mission of providing high-quality English language education to international students. We also have Aruj. She is an English learning instructor with over 20 years of experience. So she has tons of experience. You will see that at the presentation. She has trained teachers and held leadership roles in language education. She holds several certifications, including, of course, IELTS and CELPIP. She recently completed his TESOL diploma for adult teaching, and she's pursuing her OCELT certification. Her academic background includes a master's degree in applied linguistics and English literature. So we have 2 amazing guests. I want to remind you, probably you have taken the CELPIP before, but if you want to improve your points for PR, probably considering taking another one will be a great idea. And of course, studying French. French is the key right now for getting our PR, and ILAC is offering great opportunities as well. We will talk about that in a moment. So before we get started, just some housekeeping. Remember to keep your questions in the Q&A so we won't miss them. And I'm sure you will get great value in today's webinar. Thank you so much again to Chris and Ruth for joining us today, and of course to our graduates. Now I will pass it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Let's start. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. Let's just get started with some CELPIP reading and writing skills for success. Okay, so we'll just have an overview first, what we're covering today. We'll have a look at a CELPIP test and CELPIP reading formats specifically. Some handouts are there to be shared, and then the writing format. Unlike IELTS test, which is common, CELPIP has a different format. The skills are same, but it's often compared. So it's needed that students get accustomed with what is required in the test. So what is actually CELPIP? So CELPIP is an acronym for Canadian English Language Proficiency. Index program assesses English proficiency in personal, social, and workplace context. It is designed for individuals who are especially seeking immigration to Canada. Even for professional purposes, it is accepted across Canada. So why do you need to do it? Let's see in a little more detail and what type of CELPIPs are being offered. So CELPIP General, and we have CELPIP General for only listening and speaking test. Our multi-purpose English proficiency test, they are designated by the IRCC, commonly known, otherwise it's the complete name is Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada, to assess functional language proficiency, which is one of the prerequisites for the immigration purposes. CELPIP stands CELPIP General and CELPIP General ALICE tests allow test takers to demonstrate the ability to function in English and give trained raters, they are the test evaluators, like examiners, the opportunity to assess the test taker's performance in 4 skills, that is writing, speaking, listening, and reading itself. Raters, however, oh, my apologies. Raters, however, they're not required to assess listening and reading, which is mainly done through the AI. I'm not showing why it is not showing here. Maybe we can fix it later, something little glitch, my apologies on that part. Okay, so computerized testing. The good part about CELPIP test is their computerized test. So raters, as I said, as I mentioned in the previous slide, they're like examiners who are assessing mainly your writing and speaking. However, the listening and reading, they're assessed using an AI. The complete test is computer-based. You do not need any paper or pencil during the test. However, you may ask to make notes. So at the test centers, the computer terminals will be protected by privacy shields, okay, where you can just sit in your block and you can just do your task quietly. The complete environment is provided to students. You're encouraged to use it, as I mentioned, paper pencil during the test. To formulate any ideas, thoughts, or brainstorming. However, you're not supposed to permit it to take any material home. So when we look at the structure for CELPIP readings, the CELPIP reading section consists of 4 parts, unlike any other language testing. So in this reading correspondence, reading a diagram, reading for information, and reading for viewpoint. So you have 4 categories and you're supposed to respond to them. Each section tests specific skills in total of approximately 55 minutes, allowing test takers to demonstrate the comprehension and various types of text, and that they can understand different types of languages and issues, which is very common in everyday life and context. The interesting part about CELPIP is that all the language that the students of the test taker they come across is Canadian English, unlike other tests, especially IELTS, which has more of a British dominance, or at times it has some Australian accents as well, which we don't see in CELPIP. So when it comes to CELPIP writing, so CELPIP writing section comprises 2 tasks, writing an email and responding to a survey. At this point, let me remind you that my focus today is only reading and writing, so we'll be talking more in detail about these two skills. Now, this format, writing format, evaluates how well candidates can communicate in written form in everyday context. Canada, as a country, has a very common culture of communicating people through emails. So for this reason, email is one of the main components of the writing test. The scenarios are relevant to your home or your workplace environment. So topics are not difficult. It's mainly how the test takers they handle it, and then they are awarded accordingly. Also, test takers or students are never pass, they will never receive any pass or fail in this test. There's no passing, there's no fail. There's certain score that is allocated, and you will be given that according to the performance in each skill individually. So why it's important to prepare for this test now. Of course, one of the main requirements is the IRCC. What is the required course if you're planning to apply to Canada as immigration or for study purposes? And also, effective preparation for CELPIP enhances your performance and boosts your confidence. And the first major step in this is that you get familiar with the test format itself, learning strategies such as understanding question types. That is where the students may get confused and they make lots of mistakes. Managing time to practices, and expanding on the vocabulary. None of us is a lexicographer, of course. However, we expect test takers and candidates to understand the language in the context and how to do that. Some techniques, I'll try to share them today for achieving desired scores for both reading and writing. Then let's see in detail about IELTS reading structure. So reading structure section assesses comprehension in personal, social, and workplace contexts. It features 4 main areas, as said before also: reading correspondence, reading diagram, information, and viewpoint. Just remember that each contribution to your comprehension is evaluating specific area of reading skills. There are different techniques within those questions. They are there on part of the examiners to assess the test takers. And the idea is that these newcomers can easily assimilate in Canadian society. So it comprises of description, sequence, of course, comparing and contrasting. You can do some cause and effect as well. You may have some problem and solution within these categories. So let's see in more details. What is correspondence? What is this? So in the reading correspondence, candidates read emails and letters, emails or letters, email and letters. Could be both, and answer multiple choice questions. The focus is on tone, key details, and main idea, helping to evaluate understanding in real life communication. So what is the tone? Who is the sender? How do you assess that this person is talking about certain thing while it is written and you do not hear them saying something? How would you assess them through those words, through punctuation, through question techniques? And this is being assessed on, on our part, on the CELPIP part. The same way, key details. What is the ask there, and what main ideas are given in this letter on the scenario or in the situation that is expected from the test takers to respond accurately, understanding the questions and the emails itself. Second is reading a diagram. So Mostly diagrams are in form of compare and contrast, as shown in the first slide of the reading section. So this component requires you to understand and interpret visuals, basically. Test takers assess their abilities to comprehend information presented in diagrams, charts, and other visual format. So there is no definite thing that what exactly you may get during the test time. You may get a chart, you may get diagram, you may get some visuals, and you're doing reading and you're doing assessing them. We will go into look in some moment some of these examples and some past papers to get better idea of what exactly I'm talking. So these visuals are very important, yes, as being said that they require the test taker to interpret the given information, the data. That can you assess that? Can you formulate language? Can you use compare and contrast? That's going to be assessed in this in this part. And again, this information is in various contexts. It could be social, it could be something you're buying, any product could be there, it could be office, it could be it could be workplace. Next is a reading for information. So mainly reading for information part is participants or the test takers encounter informational text here designed to test your ability to extract relevant. That is called reading between the line, inferences mainly. So key strategies, yes, you do skimming for gist. You do some scanning for specific details as well. So you're applying both the skills in this part, which is part 3 of your CELPIP test. Let me remind at this point that all these 4 sections together, test takers will have only 55 minutes. There will be no extra time for transferring the answer. There will be no extra time to do one section more, or you have any break that you may use that time. That is not permissible during the CELPIP time. Yes, so enhancing comprehension in practical situations. So this area is mainly talking about your practical application. The issues may be the information related to it, some truthful articles could have been there. They're not very long text, however, they are there to test specific skills. Last but not least is viewpoint. So in this section, it assesses your critical thinking, and that is by presenting your opinion, varying opinion on topics. Candidates interpret and analyze different viewpoints, enhancing the ability to engage with diverse perspectives relevant to everyday life. Now, what is common in all 4 sections is everyday life, if you notice, and that is the goal of the CELPIP, to help you support you to understand how the everyday language look like. Here in this part, you can provide your point of view if something you agree or you disagree, in what way something is good or something is not good. So that language is assessed. That language is given to you in form of text, different reading material, and you are asked to supply answers to those texts or those material. One more thing to add at this point is that your reading section will have time. Each part of your reading section has certain time. You are supposed to finish each part within that prescribed time. Otherwise, your page will automatically goes to the next section. One thing. Second, in case you finish before the time, you feel like you want to move on, so there's no way you're coming back. So be very careful, check your answer thoroughly, do not rush over the process. Third thing, in case you finish before, you check your answer and you feel like you're confident that yes, I can move on because I still have 1, 2, or 3 minutes left. There is no carry forward. You cannot take these minutes in the next section. The remaining minutes are then wasted. The next session will have its own time. There will be no extra time given to you. So use it wisely. Just use the entire time. There's no way that if you're finishing it before you're going to be awarded something more, or you may get a chance to leave the examination room before. That's not allowed. That's not permissible. So how do we do that? So before this part, I think I will show some reading papers. So let's see a little more in detail, and then I'll go back to my slides. So for example, if we see this part, so when you start your reading test, you will always have a question. That's just one question there, which is not assessed, but it is for the data purposes that CELPIP takes from each test taker. And you will just get a minute for this. Okay. And then you actually start your test. So if you can see, this table very well provides you the overview of how many questions each section and how much time is allocated in each part. So as we were discussing correspondence, you will have 2 readings here. And these 2 readings will have 11 questions together. And for these 11 questions, along with the reading time, answering, selecting, proofreading, you will be given 11 minutes. Now, again, it's not something that you're completely reading. Nobody's expecting that. It's just the technique that you need to apply to get the best as a score. If you see here, first read a message and then answer 6 questions. Then read a response message and fill in the 5 blanks by selecting the best choice. That's it. Then comes to part 2. So 1 reading and 1 diagram. So 1 reading and 1 diagram, read a message and refer to the diagram. So it's not just that you're just blankly getting a diagram with some maybe some labeling there. No, it always carries some text, and you're required to answer the diagram, understanding of the diagram accordingly. As it says here, read the message, refer to the diagram, and find the best answers for the question. This section will have total 8 questions, and you will be given 9 minutes. Reminder again that you will have the timer on the top right corner of your page. Once the time finishes, your page will go to the next section. Regardless, you save your answers, you completed or you did not. So keep a track on your time. Number 3, then a reading information. Yes, here you will just have 1 reading. This is going to be a small text, and decide which paragraph, if any, supports each statement. So here there will be certain statements given to you, and you're going to mix and match them within the text. You will have 9 questions here, and 10 minutes will be given to you. And comes down the last section, of course, 2 readings, viewpoint. First, read an opinion text report and answer 5 questions. Then read a response and fill in 5 blanks by selecting the best choice. This is similar to part 1. However, part 1 is just a correspondence, communication, you can say. But part 4 is more opinionated, a little more critical analysis is required from your part. You will be given a longer time here. The reason being is that you are asked or required to provide some analytical skills there. You're not, of course, writing any long answers. This is not your writing test, but selecting the choice of answers may require some extra efforts going back and forth with text and questions. Within text and questions. Let's come down. This is the unscored item I talked about at the beginning of the text. Now come down if you see some tips being highlighted, how you're going to manage your time. Let's see this. What can you do here about managing your time? So the maximum amount of time, the chart that is provided above, right? The maximum. Train yourself while you're doing practice. Train yourself to do everything within this time period. Your first step is not immediately jumping and nabbing the time. Your first step is to get yourself accustomed with the test type, with the questions, with the techniques being used. Once you're familiar with that, do your practice, get fluent in this, and then start working on your time, because time management should come in the end, not at the beginning. Think that you cannot control, okay, spend. However, you cannot bank your time, as I mentioned. You cannot carry forward. So, okay, so how you're scored in your reading test, and how do you know what your score is, or where you're standing while you're doing preparation at home? So here it is. Each one response is a single score. So there will be 38 questions in total. So if you answer all 38 questions, so CELPIP level is granted between 10 to 12. That is CELPIP level 10, between 10 to 12. So while you're practicing, you can just see where do you stand. Are you getting full? Are you getting somewhere in the middle? What is your required score? CELPIP levels, they do correspond with the CLB levels. So you can easily tell that too, that okay, this is what is required by the IRCC or 4 years in permit. And yes, I do stand here. This is also a good way that you can help yourself to look for improvements. That area you feel like, maybe reading section 2, you feel that, oh, that's my weak area, or reading section 4 is my weak area. I need extra efforts there because most of my answers are wrong there. And that's how you understand it. With which part to work in, and check your score at home. Coming down, so let's see some examples here. So reading correspondence, it's something similar to this that you will receive. Again, it is computer-based test, so you will not be getting any hard copies. For the sake of today's webinar, I just prepared this PDF from the resources, but everything is provided just online. So part 1, for example, you will have a guideline, you'll get to text something similar to this. And just don't forget the time again. Usually the time is displayed at this part of the test as a countdown, so you can easily monitor it. So this is your text 1. So remember that your reading part 1 has got 2 texts. First is the email, and then 6 questions. So let's see if this is your email. You're reading it, you're training yourself to read this within the time, completing it, and answering the questions then. So how do you do that? Because if you remember how much time is being given to you in this part, it's 11 minutes. So let's see what you can do about it. Oops. So review and strengthen your skimming and scanning abilities. These are key speed reading skills. Skimming is quickly running your eyes over the whole text, and in order to get the main ideas. Right? And scanning is quickly locating a specific piece of information that might be required. Now, how do I know I'm doing skimming? How do I know I'm doing scanning? So what should you do in that case? First of all, do not touch your dictionaries, because you will then be depending on them, which you may not find during the test, the real test conditions. Your practice from day 1 should follow the real test conditions that you are expected to see. So train yourself to understand the words within the context, contextual understanding, what we call that in English. Rather than going and packing dictionary or, reaching out to Google and looking for some words or any e-dictionary, don't do that. You don't understand it. You have to make sense of it. And this is where you need skimming. Quickly running over your eyes to get the gist. What is the whole purpose of this email? Is it talking about some holiday trip, traveling, some problems, some issues, things like that? When we talk about scanning is special detail to specific words, phrases such as time, date, places, names, and a special event. Not general information, not what some everybody likes. No, what a specific person likes. You have to focus on that thing. You can do annotation while you're reading your test, so that is a very good option in CELPIP. So, how to achieve this now? Should I directly start reading the text? Should I directly jump in and skim and then scan? Absolutely not. This is going to take way longer. You should straight jump down to your question and see what it is that ask. Remember that you will have, since the test is online, so you will have the drop down menu and you will have the layout of the test is similar to a book format. Right now I'm scrolling up and down, which is not very user friendly, but CELPIP designed it so well that it is user friendly. So you will have your test text on the left hand side and your questions on the right hand side, which makes it a lot easier for the test takers to navigate through the text and answer the questions. Read the question and see what is the ask. If you just depend on reading the text, you keep diverting yourself and you keep wasting your time. Read the text, annotate the main ideas, key ideas, what is the ask, and look for that information. The test is not about how good you may read. The test is about how well you can understand these questions and answer them correctly. Some study tips are there too. That you may use. This material will be shared, as you can see. What are some techniques, how you can respond to these prompts was the part I was talking about. And how you can then eliminate wrong answers if you're confused in between two answers, they're a lot similar. What actually can you do about it? So somewhat bigger, more boring, right or incorrect. So this is actually a response to the text that is given above. And then some guidelines. Okay, sorry, I'll just come to the next part. Something, this answer cannot be correct since Jared thinks that Davina is small. So sentence 4. So when you read the question and you go back to the text, it helps you quickly to look for that specific information. However, you just make sure that you understand it contextually. And here are the reasons why it is wrong. Now, in response to this email, we have another message, another short email that you're required to answer. And this is going to be a gap fill activity. For the gap filling activity, the best technique is that you read the activity first. Every question has a different unique technique to approach to. So in this case, this question, the good idea is that you read the question to get the gist of it, skim through it, what the person is saying, how would the person have replied to this email. Let's see. Again, you will have some prompts. Select the best choice for blank 3. Since I already read this email, the response, it's a lot easier for me to get the correct answer because in my head, what is the response look like? In this condition, you should not, that's advised, you should not read the questions first. So part one, 2 types, and both have got different techniques to get better or good to score or high score. And then responding, so read the response to the message sentence by sentence. Then click on the blanks in order to read answer choices also. Okay, so answer and choose any answer that seem immediately correct to you. You can do that too. You don't have to wait till the last minute to finish everything. Maybe something fits within that as well. And then this might be possible because you are now quite familiar with the subject from reading the first message. Remember that these two texts are interconnected. The first one is maybe sharing some problem, and the second one is a response to the first one. Also, in your exam conditions, as you can see these blanks, the real test will have this thing as a drop-down menu. Again, this is the PDF file, so we are unable to see that option and they're given towards the end. But in the real test, it is not like this, and that's what exactly is written here. And then how you're going to eliminate answers, so it will be a lot easier for you when you read the text first in this part of this reading. Let's go down then. Oops. Yeah. Okay. But yes, this one. So if you do not understand the phrase like you, for example, you will possibly misinterpret the question, okay, which will make it difficult to choose the right answer. So how do you do that then? Like you is in fact a short version of the expression just like you. Just like you. Both phrases mean that the writers share a certain viewpoint about the topic that is the same or are similar to that of the reader. Some common English expressions. Pay special attention to this part. Some common English expressions have short versions such as come instead of come with me, or how much instead of how much is this, to help you learn shortened form. Make a list of common expressions. Okay? And the best ways for you is as you listen any English movies, talk shows, talking to someone, you get yourself familiar with such expressions because they are there in this email. This is the informal communication. This is not the formal email, and you expect to see such language just to get yourself familiar. And that's it. Let's go back to our tips for reading. One more practice, and what do we have here? So next is what strategies. I discussed just part one, that what we can do because of the time constraint as well. But effective practice strategies include understanding the question type again is the key to unlock each section of CELPIP. Total reading test time, 55 minutes, and by the time you finish and you submit, it will be 60, but your time is 55 minutes that you're sitting and you're doing it. This computer-based format is designed for efficiency while ensuring a comprehensive assessment. And trying to sit down and do your CELPIP on computer, your practice should be while you're using laptops or computers. The reason is if you're using any printed form, it might not be very helpful when you are there for the real test day. It may impede your performance. Then comes the writing part. So writing structure, the CELPIP writing section comprises of 2 tasks, writing an email. If you notice, email is one of a very important part in reading also. First section is email and writing as well. And then second is to responding to a survey. Each task assesses the ability to convey clear, coherent, tailored to everyday scenarios, emphasizing the importance of the structure, your tone. Are you polite? Are you not polite? Are you using words, certain words that should be there in your email or your request or not? And your clarity with those words is extremely important. So task one, let's talk about task one. So writing an email. In this task, candidates write an email addressing a specific prompt, such as complaint or request. So complaint usually is another very polite way. There's complaint does not mean that somebody gets really angry or aggressive or rude. Absolutely not. This is not especially accepted in Canadian culture. So that's what they want to see, that the language, what type of language is being used. So this assesses their formal writing skills and ability to communicate effectively in a professional context. So sample prompts and discussion. An example prompt may involve addressing a delivery issue with the vendor, discuss the appropriate tone, purpose, and the structure required for an effective email response, focusing on clarity and professionalism. Regardless, however, whatever the issue is, if it's complaint or how severe it is, the point is that they want to see the professional tone of language. They're not very formal emails. You may get semi-formal emails as well, but the whole idea is cohesively that yes, you can communicate professionally and you can communicate with politeness. Then comes the outline and model response. Creating an outline, extremely important. You should never sit down and start writing your response without a proper planning. Again, that comes through training. We're going to look into some sample in a moment, but an outline will help you to just navigate through and just go with the flow. Your ideas will flow there because you already have some written plan in front of you. As I said earlier too, you may request for paper and pencil even during your computer-based self-help test. Creating an outline consists of identifying the greeting, introduction, body, closing, everything. So the layout, the complete format of writing an email. A model response serves as an example to guide the writing process and ensure all elements are addressed succinctly. Now here, task completion is another requirement. Apart from being polite, your tone, your professionalism, your format is another important thing. And your all parts are covered. Whatever is asked in the prompt, you're answering it sufficiently. Now, task 2. What is a task 2? So task 2 is a survey response. In this task, candidates respond to a survey question by providing the preference and reasons. So maybe as a locals of somewhere, you will be asked about constructing a park in your neighborhood or constructing a mall, for example, or starting a new transportation services in your area. So these kind of questions. Again, so this assesses your ability to articulate thoughts with clarity, coherently, under certain time conditions, certain exam conditions. So when I say coherently, so they are looking that your ideas are flowing, because this is completely open-ended question, opinionated question. It is using, basically wanted to see the test takers' analytical skills, how good you are at this thing, how good you are providing your opinion. There is a catch here too. Remember that anything would never have all the positives. There are pros and cons, they always go hand in hand. This is not an essay response. You're not required to write an essay. It's a short response. Yet again, never miss out to share um, any concessions. Are there any cons that you feel could possibly be there? However, they can be fixed. So while you're talking about supporting your thoughts in this part of your writing task, and you're agreeing with something that should be done, and this is a good idea to do this thing because of this reason and examples and explanation, Never forget to give the other side of the view. However, it may cause this thing. Yet again, city government, for example, can do something to control it. If you're just writing your response from single sided views, it is not really analytical, and that is what is the whole purpose of task 2, that you're not just asked to provide it, but you are just write your opinion, but you're doing some analytical skills to if this is okay, if the construction is going there, what good and bad are there, right? So sample survey question, an example survey question may ask for a choice between two worksheet teams, for example. Candidates can practice articulating the rationale for their choice in a structured manner, demonstrating coherence and clarity. So two worksheet, you'll maybe working at night, maybe working during the daytime, or working from home, working directly from your own office at your own pace. So there's never anything in this world that is always good, always 100%. Nothing is perfect in this world. So always think about it from both perspectives. These are tricky questions. As I said, there is always a catch in them. We immediately pick the pen, start writing our opinion, happily telling, oh, this is my opinion. This is a very good idea. No, always share that. And then organizing a response. That is another problem students face. You must follow certain structure in your writing, which is commonly known in English as the funnel style. Either you get the top-down approach or bottom-up approach, from general to go to more specific, or very specific go to general. But organize your ideas. Do not mix them up. Do not, misshaped your writing by it. When organizing a response, should represent their choice, followed by at least two reasons supporting your decision. So why are you saying this thing? Give it. Don't give reasons first and then your opinion, and then the other side may be the counter argument concession. So this structure ensures that clarity allows the use of transition words for better flow. The ideas should flow, and that is where your planning comes in. If you have a clear planner in front of you, it will make your writing flow thought by thought very easily. Okay, and before we go to the last part, let's have a look at some writing samples. Okay, so let's see the first part. Writing an example, and what is there now, and how do we do that? So task 1 instructs you to write an email regarding a day-to-day matter. For example, you may be asked to write to a company to make a complaint, or to say how happy you are with their service. It's very important to consider the task carefully. Your task, you need to read it once, twice, thrice, carefully, and plan your response. These two words are the key. Use the paper and pencil provided to prepare your response in form of planning. Don't sit down and start writing the entire response. That is going to waste your time. Now, task 1, writing an email, is 30 minutes. Again, the same way, you're going to write it. You will have a timer on the top right corner, and you're going to finish it within that time. So let's suppose, hypothetically, if this is the question in your exam condition, fundraising for children, you're volunteering at a children's charity, you're raising money for children's activity. Your task is to contact local businesses to raise this money. And you're only required to write 150 to 200 words. Now, write an email to a local company. You can make any company. You don't have to provide the address. It's not a letter, it's an email. Remember this thing. Your email should do the following things. This is your task completion. This is that you're providing sufficient response. You're not missing out any of these. So introduce your charity, point 1. and then explain what it does. So you introduce, okay, I'm writing this email from ABC Charity, and what do I do? What is the purpose? What is the mission of my charity? What is the vision of my charity? Explain it with clarity. Best idea is that you use these words. You may use these words, but the best idea is, let me correct myself, best idea is to paraphrase them. Okay, while you're introducing. Then you explain the activity you're planning. Come down, explain it in detail. That is the main ask. That is exactly the thing. That is the main thing. Your task is to contact to raise money. So you have to explain them in detail. What is your activity basically? Because next is you're going to ask them for money. So they should know, this is their right to know, with clarity. Ask for money and explain. So now you ask for money, how much you need, what you're exactly looking, where this money will go, and then explain how it will be spent. Discuss the division, the cost there. And all you can do it very well through your planning. So same things, organizing, there your response first draft. So practice these things at home. Check the criteria set by CELPIP to get yourself better score and improve yourself with everyday practice. Come down to then responding to the prompt. Read your prompt very carefully. Okay, pay attention. Your question is always divided in many parts. You have a background given there. Read it. Do not get confused. This is not your letter, so you're not required. You just make a direct start. Since it's an email, yet it's formal, so you're always starting it with dear, so you know those salutations you require as a part of formal emails. So some points how you can respond to it as a first draft while you're practicing at home, and then responding to your second, okay, to your first response. Recognize and plan what you want to write. Okay, planning is the key again. Observe the tone, all right, after your response. And if you come down, if you see here, keep track of your word count. That is another important thing as you write. During your task conditions, yes, you will be given a word count at the bottom of your page. However, while writing or practicing at home, you should get yourself trained to it. Okay, 3 sentences, these many words in my handwriting, 5 sentences, these many words. So when you do that, you are going to naturally apply this thing while during the real task conditions. And yes, it's already I've written it here. Think about paraphrasing. That is going to boost your score very well. Right. And then I'll come to the last part of it. Yeah, because again of time, I couldn't share this survey question, only one. So key features of your writing assessments. So writing raters, or we call them raters in CELPIP, otherwise simple word you can understand, examiners, assess based on coherence, vocabulary, readability, and task fulfillment. A clear and organized responses with appropriate word choices significantly impact your score. Okay, you just see the word significantly. So it's not difficult, it just simply we need to understand how to handle the question during that time and get ourselves familiar with some everyday ideas on certain uncommon issues. So useful features, what do I need to do in my writing test, right? So of course, ideas, very important, right? How are you going to get? Remember that there's no harm. You can name anything. You can make as much amount as you can. Nobody from the raters, from the CELPIP ever go back and check the factual information you provide. The focus is to assess writing, not any examples you're providing for instance. We're not looking, okay, if you're saying this is a cold country, this is generating this much of revenue, is this true or not? Nobody's going there. It is how you presented the information that is the focus. So CELPIP writing includes spell check, yes, basic editing functions. These tools enhance your writing ability, however, correct word choices. So noun, what forms of noun? Adjectives, adverbs, did you use them correctly? Verb forms, infinitives or gerunds. So strong grammar part and your vocabulary, of course. So organization, properly, streamlined your ideas. Voice, your tone. Are you polite? Are you requesting them? Are you trying to be really casual while you're writing very formal email? You're using contractions. Contractions are not allowed, for example. All these things are assessed under the writing test. Sentence fluency. Have you used a lot of simple sentences? Or did you provide some compound or complex compound sentences, right? And of course, transitional words are the key when examiners are assessing your coherence, but do not overuse them. And the only way we can practice it, or you can practice it, as through or improve it, is through rigorous practice. Tips for effective practice: engage in timed writing exercises to stimulate real life condition. Give yourself difficult tasks. If you do the difficult parts at home, it's going to be a lot easier for you to go through the exam processing very easily. Utilizing 20 to 25 minutes per task. It's 1 hour test, writing test as well, 30 minutes for each part. Train yourself for 20 to 25 minutes. That's what I always tell my students to do. The reason is, keep those 5 minutes in your hand to proofread your work. You never know. You need to correct some contractions, some language, some words, some sentence, some punctuation. There's a lot. Incorporating tools like Grammarly can provide you with extra support, and yes, definitely some feedback. That if you require the paid version, if you're looking for immediate feedback from something. So to wrap up, yes, understand the format of the CELPIP reading and writing sections. Remember that reading is more using the AI. Computerized writing, they do have the assessors sections to know what to expect on the test day. But get yourself familiar, do lots of practice, because you need to get yourself familiarized with different types of questions and tags within that time period, because that is the most overwhelming part most of the time for many students, the different types of tags. It's not difficult. CELPIP is very easy test compared to IELTS, which is very academic and it carries different accents and a lot of research-oriented tags. CELPIP is more everyday focused test, a lot easier. It's just the practice that will help you to get accustomed with it. Use the strategies like schematic scanning, outlining, linking ideas, okay, to approach each task effectively. Practice regularly with sample tests, vocabulary building, and timed writing to build confidence in your skill. And last, of course, focus on the scoring criteria. You should focus what you are expecting to get, so you aim for that. Clarity, vocabulary, organization, task completion. 3 prompts are there, so you have to answer 3 prompts. 4 prompts are there, so you have to answer 4 prompts. But each prompt can have more than one ask, as I've just explained, and use built-in test tools wisely. Like I said, Grammarly could be a good option to get some immediate feedbacks. And that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aruj. I'm actually like Loving the presentation. I'm loving your voice. Like you have a very musical tone. This is so pleasant. So thank you so much for the presentation. I think everyone who joined today learned a great deal from you. You gave amazing, amazing tips. So thank you so much for the presentation and
It's a pleasure.
for all the tips. Um, just one question, because I don't know, do you teach CELPIP, the bootcamp course at ILAC? Is that right?
Yes, I do
Yes.
that. I do some coverings. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we're going to be talking about now. Chris, if you want me to go ahead and talk about the preparation courses. So as you saw, it's not only about knowing the language, but also knowing what you are required from the test and each part and each skill, right? So we cover reading and writing today. So we're going to be talking about the preparation courses that we teach at ILAC as well. I'm going to just share my screen right now. I think you can all see it. Yeah, thank you, Chris, for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Okay, so ILAC started as a ILAC education group. We are called now ILAC education group because we not only teach English, that's how we started in 1997. So 28 years ago, we started as an English school, but over the years, we evolved into English classes online as well. We teach French as well. We're going to be talking about that in a moment. We teach English as well online and German. We are a private career college as well. And this past September, we open our international high school here in Toronto. And we are also IELTS and CELPIP testing center. Okay, with campuses in Toronto and Vancouver. Every year we welcome students from over 90 nationalities, both in our in-person and online delivery method. And we host students, over 25,000 students per year. We have partnerships with over 100 universities here in Canada. Lambton College is one of our partners. We've been partners with Lambton College for over a decade. And we also have partnerships with 200 institutions in the US. The locations in downtown Toronto and downtown Vancouver as well, for those who in the future might be looking into preparation courses in person. And what do we offer? So not only we offer CELPIP, that's what we cover today, but if anyone is interested in passing the IELTS exam, we also offer IELTS exam preparation. We offer that in the morning in person in our downtown locations, and students, they can start every Monday. Schedule goes from Monday to Friday from 8:30 until 1 p.m. And right now we have this good promotion with $242 per week on tuition. We also offer in-person classes for both IELTS and CELPIP preparation courses in the evening schedule, also in our downtown location. IELTS starts every Monday, but CELPIP, we have specific start days. So our courses for CELPIP start every 3 weeks. We're going to be talking about more in detail about the start dates in just a moment. In terms of the schedule for the evening classes, we offer them in our Monday to Thursday, 6 to 9:45 p.m. Students can choose between a full-time schedule or part-time schedule, where you could choose to come on Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday. So you can pick the skills that you want to focus on. Again, in the same schedule, 6 to 9:45 p.m. And we're going to be talking about the promotions in just a moment, but those coming for the in-person classes for evening schedule, if you choose to come on 8-week full-time schedule or 12-week part-time, ILAC will cover the test. Whether if you choose IELTS or CELPIP test, ILAC will cover the test, okay? If you're considering doing the IELTS exam preparation online, we also offer that in 4 different time slots per day. It's a full-time schedule, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, from Monday to Friday or Sunday to Thursday. And the tuition fee goes at $120 per week. And the program that is, we call it like a CELPIP bootcamp. It's a 4-week program. This is the course that teacher Arouge teaches. This is a bootcamp, we call it. It's a fast-track accelerated course. It's delivered online. We start classes every other Monday. It's also a full-time program. Classes go from Monday until Thursday. Friday is optional. It's a drop-in. And we offer it in 2 different time slots, 6 to 8 p.m. Toronto time or 6 to 8 p.m. Vancouver time. And tuition is at $100 per week. Okay. In terms of the schedule, so as I mentioned before, for night school, this is our in-person delivery method in the evening, 6 to 9:45 p.m. You can see here in the chart which skill we teach every day. Okay, so reading on Mondays, Tuesdays, listening, Wednesdays, writing, speaking on Thursdays. So students, they could choose to come on a full-time schedule, Monday through Thursday, or part-time. So in that case, you can choose the skill that you want to focus on. Monday and Wednesdays, we do reading and writing. We call it part-time A. And then you can also choose Tuesdays and Thursdays. So then you can focus on listening and speaking skill. Again, in the same schedule, 6 to 9:45. If you see the second half of the class, we focus more on exam strategies. Okay. In terms of the start dates for CELPIP, as we said before, we start CELPIP. The CELPIP intakes happen every 3 weeks. So we just had a new intake this past Monday, and then the next one is June 9th, June 30th, and so on and so forth. So every 3 weeks, we have a new intake for CELPIP. Students, they can complete the course in 6 weeks in a full-time program, or 12 weeks if they choose the part-time option. Price and promotions. So for the in-person and at school, registration fee is $120, one time only. You will only pay this once for the first time that you become an ILAC student. If you were an ILAC student before, you don't pay these anymore. Okay, and then the tuition fees. So for the full-time program, it's a $190 per week, or part-time $130 per week, and materials are also provided. Now we have 2 promotions. The students can choose between these 2 promotions. You could choose between adding free weeks. So for every 5 weeks that you book, we add 1 additional week for free. So you pay 5 weeks, but you study for 6, or you pay for 10 and you study for 12. So for every 5 weeks, we add 1 week for you for free. Or you could choose between this other promotion, where when you register for 8 weeks full-time or 12 weeks part-time, ILAC covers the test fee. Okay. Now let's talk about the CELPIP course delivered online. We call it, as I mentioned before, CELPIP Bootcamp. Is a fast-tracked, accelerated course. And the reason why is that we understand the students, they are already at an advanced level, and they really need to maximize their time in 4 weeks to prepare for the exam and to sit for the exam, right? Minimum enrollment is 2 weeks. And the schedule goes from Monday to Thursday with a drop-in on Friday optional, from 6 to 8 p.m. Toronto time or 6 to 8 p.m. Vancouver time. You can also see here that for the first 2 weeks, we focus on listening and speaking, and then the week 3 and week 4, we do reading and writing. So the time of the registration, when you register, you can request a specific intake for the skill that you want to focus on. So let's say you can register for the 4 weeks, right? So then in those 4 weeks, we will cover those 4 skills required for the test. But if you want to just focus on specific skills, you can do that. So when you register, you will be able to see when we teach the skills that you want to focus on. And why I make this point, because we had questions before around students wanting to just focus on specific skills, maybe reading and writing or listening and speaking. And we have scheduled ourselves in that way that students, they can just focus on those skills for the time that they register. As for pricing, registration fee in this case is slightly lower, so it's $50 only one time, and tuition fee is $100 per week. As I said before, you will only pay once the registration fee, so for the first time that you register at ILAC. The registration process is very, very simple. You will just need to fill out the registration form, take our free online test, or if you have already taken a official test, CELPIP, IELTS, or TOEFL, you will send us the results, so then we can waive the test for you, and then we'll send you the invoice, we will send you the class instructions, payments, and you will start classes right away. For those that are a bit hesitant, they want to maybe try our classes before they register. We offer trial classes in our in-person delivery method, the evening. So we will just need you to take the assessment test first, and then we will book the trial classes that we offer on Mondays and Tuesdays. Okay. Any questions that you have, I'm going to also leave as soon as I stop sharing the presentation. I'll share my email, so you can always connect with us either through my email or via info@ilac.com. You can also message us or call us on WhatsApp, the number that you see on the screen, and of course, visit our website. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, so I'm going to just see questions that we have. No questions.
Actually, no questions. The few questions we had have been replied already.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, all good here. I have shared ILAC's information. You can find it in the chat to find the website, Christina's email, WhatsApp, everything there. I also shared the links if you want to join the French course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the French demo, so that's a great opportunity. You will be able to join. Well, the 6 p.m. session today is gone, but you can join still today at 9 p.m.,
9
right?
p.m. That's right. Yes. So yeah, so we can talk about now the French classes. This is a new program that we've been working on for quite some time. I know there is lots of need for those who want to apply for PR, right? When you when you also know French and you submit your French test, you get 50 extra points towards your PR applications. It's super, super important right nowadays. Now, as Christina mentioned here in the chat, we are offering demo lessons. So today we have the next one at 9 p.m. Toronto time, and then next Wednesday and Thursday, we have 2 sessions each day. So make sure to register in the links that Christina shared with us here. Okay, I'm also going to share my screen again. Okay, I think you can see it now. So this is the website for the demo lessons, right? So as I said, those are the free demo lessons for the French classes. And we're going to have the first classes starting on June 2nd. Okay, I'm going to just share here the information about, sorry, excuse me, the French classes. So very similar to what we offer online for English classes. We have classes from Monday to Thursday, and then on Fridays we will offer speaking and review. Okay, classes, we offer them in 2 different time slots, 6 to 9 p.m. or 9 p.m. to midnight. Again, this is Toronto time. Okay, at the moment we are offering, we will start with French general course. And then as soon as we see more demand and as soon as we see students reaching the level required for the level for the test preparation, then we will start with test preparation as well. You can see here on the screen all the levels that we offer from A1 until B2.2. Each of those levels take 4 weeks to complete. All right, and as soon as the students reach level B1, that's when we can start with test preparation courses. Okay.
Perfect. So as you saw, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please go ahead, Chris.
No, I just want to say that I like to have very competitive prices. Even you can get free weeks if you register for a certain amount of weeks. You can get even the free test. So do consider these options, and especially join the demo lesson. It's for free. I joined already. I mean, I registered already.
Nice.
And I'll be there. So I do recommend you all to try it. If you have never had like contact with French, this could be a very good idea to start understanding whether you like it or no. Even though at this point it's not like we like, but probably we need, right? So it's a good idea to get it started with a demo lesson. And we really encourage you to do it. So take in consideration all the information we're giving you today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Chris. So yes, absolutely. Those are free demo lessons that we're offering. So again, tonight at 9 p.m. So make sure that you register so then you get the Zoom link to join the session. And then of course, next week we will also offer more. But again, those are free demo lessons, the same as the one that we had today for CELPIP. Okay.
Yeah, it's really simple. You just click on the links we shared and you will register just your name, last name, I think, and email address. So exactly the same you did for joining us today.
That's right. Yeah. In terms of tuition for French classes, now we're talking about the French classes, right? Tuition is very competitive pricing, $100 per week. Registration fee, $120. As I've been saying already, you will only pay this once, right? So if you register, let's say you register for CELPIP bootcamp and then you register for French, you only pay one time the registration fee, okay? And then material fee is $10 per week. This promotion ends on June. Sorry, the promotion that I'm going to be talking now, actually, this is a regular fee. And then the promotion that we have right now is a very good promotion when you register for 7 weeks, we will give you 1 extra week for free. So again, you pay for 7 and you study for 8, or you pay for 14 and you study for 16 weeks. ILAC gives you those extra weeks for free. This promotion ends on June 30th, meaning that you have to register before June 30th, register and pay for the classes. You can start your classes later on, but as long as you register, you book your courses before June 30th, we will grant you this promotion. All right. In terms of the start date, so as we said before, the first intake will be on June 2nd. And as we mentioned, the French classes are, they follow a 4-week cycle. We advise students to always start on a main start date that you can see them highlighted in dark blue, okay? Since it's a 4-week cycle, this is what we call the main start date, June 2nd. We can also allow students to start on an alternate start date, which in this case would be June 2nd, second week of the course. But otherwise, we allow students to only start on a main or alternate start date as a second option. But if you cannot make it to any of these days, then the next one will be June 30th, July 28th, and so on and so forth. So every 4 weeks, we have a new start date. And the registration process, booking process is very straightforward as well. We will need students to take the official assessment test first by clicking in this link. I will share this link, this website later on in the chat so you can all have access to it. Take the placement test, fill out the application form. You have here the 2 options, PDF or online, and then you will send it to your agency if you're in contact with an agency, or you can also email it to us at info@ilac.com, and we will follow up with the invoice, payment options, and the links to your classes. Very, very straightforward. Okay. Any questions so far?
Here.
I'm gonna just go ahead and share it here in the chat. And Christina, you have already, but in any case, I'm gonna just share my email and Info's email as well. Okay.
Okay, said. That's great. Okay, then perfect. Thank you so much. We will be sharing actually the morning and the afternoon session with you because it's a bit different. You will find it very interesting. So I do really recommend you to follow both sessions so you will learn a lot today.
From both, yeah.
Yeah, it's been totally different, but very useful, both of them.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you, Chris, for your time and all your availability.
Thank you.
These, again, are great promotions. We do really encourage you to attend and perfection your English and French, especially join the demo lessons will be very interesting.
For sure. Yes, please. We we welcome everyone to join our demo lessons tonight and next week as well, Wednesday and Thursday. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us, call us, message us on WhatsApp. We're here for you. Thank you again for the opportunity, Chris. I appreciate it.
Got all the information in the chat. I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks a lot for sharing all your knowledge with us and your time as well. And I hope to see you soon, everybody. Thanks, Chris, and thanks to our graduates for joining us today. Have a rest of the evening already, a lovely rest of the evening, and enjoy it.
All right.
To see you next week. Take care,
Take care.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.